Hello, it's show week again. Groundhog Day, anyone? And it's Sister Act. Now, I wasn't aware until today that the place that we're doing the show in is a church. I knew it was a church, but I didn't appreciate the layout of the setup of where we were going to do this show. So, get there, go in. It's quite a big place. It's not a church, you know, there's no like stained glass windows or 8-foot figures of Christ on the cross. There's nothing like that. It's quite a progressive kind of church. Pentecostal, I think. I'm not sure. So anyway, get there. And there's no wings. There's no kind of proscenium. There's no wings. And all of the props are on the side, and they have to be brought on and brought off in plain view of the audience. No blackout, nothing like that. So I get there and I say, right, it was semi-tech today. So I asked, where am I going to be standing on that side of the stage right or left as you're in the audience? And they went, no. There's quite a lot of action going on there, so you're going to be over on the other side. So God help anyone who's bought tickets on that side who now needs to swap if there's people sat there and they won't. And, it gets better. So I went, yeah, all right. So can I have a sort of raised platform? Yeah, we'll sort one out for you. Okay, fine. I'm easy going. Let's just do that. So then I say to the light guy, can I have a spot? I mean, I've worked with this guy twice before, so he should know by now. And he basically went into this entire diatribe about how he's got all of this rigging to do and he's only got a 13 amp something. I don't know anything about electrics. And so because I'm only there on one night, he really doesn't see why he should have to bother with Seriously. So anyway, it gets better. Start the show, just running the show and trying to get, like how we're going to get props on, how we're going to get props off. So I stand in the approximate position where I'm going to be standing, knowing that I'm going to be about a foot, maybe a foot and a half higher than I was. So I just thought, okay. But then because there are no wings, people are coming on like in front of me, behind me. It was just like this constant flow of bodies passing in front of me. And it was so off-putting. And then it gets better. There's a part where Eddie, the cop, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the show, some homeless people have to like take his clothes off and throw them off to the side. So I get this pair of detachable trousers in the kisser halfway through his song. So yeah, and then various props are being brought on and off, and I keep getting smacked in the back or in the front, and just and people keep forgetting the words. There's this one song where it's a difficult song to learn, I have to admit, because I struggled with it as well. But people are just kind of going, morning fever. I don't know what they're supposed to be singing. I know what they're supposed to be singing, but I don't know what they are singing. Oh, shit. So, at the half time when we all had like 10 minutes to go, like neck a bottle of water because it was about 8,000 degrees in there. It was so hot. I had a t-shirt and shorts on and I was sweating. So how these poor people who have to wear double costumes sometimes, one underneath the other, we had 2 almost faintings. So anyway, in the half time, I go to the director and I said, I have concerns. Yeah, I have some really big fucking concerns actually about my own physical safety. Because during the second half, one of the guys bringing the props on, he went, well, you're going to have to move out the way. Like, where? Do you want me to levitate? Where do you want me to go? Tech rehearsal, man alive. I love tech rehearsal usually. I've only ever done a show in a place that hasn't been a traditional, a proper stage before. And that went about as well as this did. Jesus Christ, pardon the pun. So yeah. And to top it all, because it does get better, they're not having a band. There are some financial issues, apparently. They just couldn't afford a band. So they're doing everything to backing tracks, which is fine. When I first started off on this crazy journey, we did pantomimes and it was all backing tracked. And people would come on and their song would start and they would sing their song and then their song would finish and they'd go off and it was fine. So long as the producer remembered to put in like sound effects here and there, absolutely fine. But in Sister Act and a lot of modern musicals, actually, what you find is that it's not just a song. The song starts and goes a third of the way through, and then there's a little bit of talking in it. And then there's a bit more singing, and then there's a bit more talking in it, and then there's a bit more singing. And that's the problem with using a backing track. If you've got a band and the band start playing and you miss your cue, any musical director worth their salt will be able to just like signal to the band, like, let's circle back around on that, and they'll pick up the cue the next time we go around, or they don't, and we just keep circling around like a jet at Heathrow. But that's the beauty of a band. Or if somebody is not singing fast enough, the band can slow down. If somebody's singing too fast, the band can speed up. And that's the beauty of having a band, because these people, because they're professional musicians and they get paid to do the job, they're quite fluid in how they can do the show, and it's different every night. But having a backing track means that the people who have to do the talking bits, they have to be on point, bang on the money with the bits that they're talking. Otherwise, they're too slow and they're talking over the bit where the next part of the song starts, or they're too quick and there's this interminable, like, just filler in music while everybody else is kind of looking at each other like, well, we can't start singing here because it's not. So that's the problem with the backing track. Now, I practice to a backing track. So I learn all the incidental music, all the sort of on hold music, if you like, where they change the scenes. I learn all of that. So I know exactly how long it is that I have to wait until, so I can get things ready in my head. But I don't think this group has ever done that before. And they're struggling. They're really struggling to get the talking parts in time with where the music stops and start, because the music just carries on in the background. So you're sort of doing your talking bit, and they were struggling with that tonight. A lot of people forgot the words to the songs. So the entire experience for me was hella frustrating. And finally, because they've moved me from the side of the stage where I usually stand to the complete opposite, all of my role shift just out the window. I now have to think about the role shift that I've practiced. If I'm facing this way because the character's face, and now I'm on the other side of the stage. So unlike previous shows, I now have to watch them throughout the rehearsal to see where they are so that I can change what I'm doing bodily, and my head is shredded. I feel like I've just sat A-level maths without any preparation. I'm hurting. And not just from having a zipper cut the end of my nose off and getting a bruise inside from a giant bench. That my head hurts. My brain hurts. Yeah. So yeah, bit frustrated. There's nothing I can do about it. I have to say that had I known it was going to be in this kind of situation, I would probably have mentioned it. If I'd have known that they were going to be carrying props on and coming backwards and forwards in front of me for the entire show, I would have said something a lot sooner and maybe not done the show. Because at the end of the day, yes, having people walk backwards and forwards in front of you is distracting when you're trying to concentrate on. Couldn't hear a lot of the time because they weren't mic'd up tonight. So when you're trying to concentrate on listening to what they're saying when you can't hear anyway, and the sound's coming from this one tiny speaker, but hopefully there'll be more tomorrow. It's really, really hard to concentrate, but then having the additional challenge, let's say, of, yeah, am I going to get swiped off this bench that I'm standing on when somebody's a bit careless with the prop? As funny as it seems, I don't really want to have this guy's trousers thrown in my face. I don't want to be injured or put at risk for a hobby. So tomorrow is full tech, apparently. Hopefully by then the tech guys will have got the sound sorted out, the mics sorted out. Everybody will have practiced their songs a bit more so they'll get the words right. And it will go better once I'm stood on this platform that I'm supposed to have tomorrow. So at least then I can do a proper assessment. But if I get hit tomorrow with anything at all, whether it's cloth-based or otherwise, I'm going to have to say something. And I'm also going to have to think very, very carefully about whether I want to do this show or whether what I can do to look after myself. I can't concentrate on giving a decent performance if I'm worried about getting knocked off this 2-foot-high platform by somebody wanging me around the head with a chair. Can't do it. And I swore I never would. So there's where we're up to. But hey, on the bright side, I got booked to do The Little Mermaid again next year with a different group, so that's going to be interesting. I have to revisit that. So yeah, my head hurts. I'm going to have to practice a couple of songs that I messed up. They messed them up anyway, but I messed them up as well. So I'm going to have to practice those tomorrow. Tomorrow night is full tech. Then the next night, the church won't let them use it. So Wednesday night is dress rehearsal, and then Thursday night is my performance. So I don't actually go and get to watch the show this time, which I don't like, but What can you do if you're not a professional interpreter and you don't do this for a living and there's nothing you can do, really. You can advocate for your own health and safety, and you can advocate for the audience's experience, because if the deaf audience are sat there and all they can see is people walking past, and I don't know. So let's see how it goes tomorrow night. And hopefully they'll have had the aircon on because it was so hot. And people were missing bits of costumes left, right and centre. I'm so lucky that I only have this one thing that I have to wear. So yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes tomorrow night. If there are any more issues about me getting hit with anything, I mean, I'm laughing about it, but yeah, it is kind of serious. So if there are any issues with that, I'm just going to have to say something, and then I'm going to have to think about what I can do and what the group are prepared to do to keep me safe. And if the two don't match up and I don't feel safe, then I've got a decision to make. And it's 3 days before the show. But I can't afford to have a month off work because somebody hits me with a proper knife ball over and break my ankle. So, yeah. Fun times. So I'm sure I will catch up with you later in the week from my hospital bed, wearing a full body cast, no doubt. So that's where we're up to, and I will see you later.